Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, why on earth am I greeting you not in person, but on recorded tape on this 1968-ish Sears tape cartridge recorder? Just because it's cool, and I'm a nerd, and it's fun, and I'm hoping that you are my people, and you will recognize the cool and geek factor and accept it. Okay, we've got a great show planned for you today. One that we've worked hard on and hope that you enjoy. Plus, I've got some big news, some major news to announce at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. On today's show, we're going to take a look at some technology, radio technology, that we really haven't talked about before, test it out, demonstrate it, all that good stuff. And I'm going to show the recent haul that I made of thrift store records that was surprising in its potency and price. You're not going to want to miss this. So I happened to pick up some records today, and I have to say, in general, thrift stores in terms of vinyl records have been pretty dry lately. Haven't really found any good records in the thrift store world, so I've been kind of focused on, vinyl shops and antique stores, but they're more expensive there. Wanted to return to our roots in terms of affordable, cheap to purchase vinyl, and I kind of hit pay dirt today, and I'll tell you about it. So I thought we'd go through, check out some of these records, and even give them a listen. And let me put this out there for you. By the way, our first record today, these are completely raw, off the shelf. I have not cleaned them. I haven't even inspected them that carefully. I just took the gamble, and I said, let's check this out on the show and see if we got robbed or not. I will say this, that Goodwill is now charging $2.99 for vinyl, which I think is steep. I think it should be $1.99 max, because a lot of this stuff is in rather rough condition. I don't think anything I got today is worth, possibly even what I paid for it. But from a historical standpoint and a cool factor, it's probably worth a lot more. So let's get right into it. Elvis Blue Hawaii. This is an iconic album. Yes, it's in very rough condition, as you can tell, taped up. But these Hal Wallace soundtracks to the Elvis movies, I think are pretty cool, and it's a good collection to have. I have a couple of my favorites. This one is, possibly one of the all-time best, Elvis titles. Not just the movies, questionable quality. They cranked out, I think he did like 30 to 60 of them. I was like, that's a wide range. He did a lot of them. Let's just say it was double digits for sure. And but some of the music from the movies, although Elvis himself didn't really care for that music as much, some of my favorite Elvis music. This record was very well loved, as you can tell. We've got hearts all over it. A couple scenes from the movie, and this is an RCA Victor record. And this is cool. This is really, really cool. My dad loves this stuff. So do I. My wife also loves Elvis Blue Hawaii. It's one of those soundtracks that we like to listen to. So again, this record is filthy. It's dusty. Hasn't been cleaned or anything. So just bear with me. I thought we'd just give these records a very cursory listen. I think this record is actually in decent condition. I just think it's dirty. Be very careful with this stuff, obviously. You can only use little bits. Good stuff. Really good music. Now, obviously, we're just listening live in the room. There's no direct feed or anything. The microphone's not even really pointed at the speaker on this, so this isn't like a thorough sound test of this record by any means. We're just checking it out. It's just show and tell. Just friends hanging out and, checking out some records. Good stuff. Really good stuff. That's a great, great soundtrack. One of the worst parts about buying records like this is there's no sleeves for the most part. This one, let's see if I can get a shot of it here. It's just cardboard, and no wonder this thing is dusty and whatnot. So these will get properly cleaned and all of that good stuff. But for today, we're just giving them a very, very cursory overview. Next record up is a Decca original, guys. I love Decca records through collecting some of those lately. I've been learning about, Decca to MCA and, kind of that whole world, especially as it relates to country music, which is interesting. Kind of growing up, I always associated Decca with jazz and classical, which, we've talked before, Decca, European Decca is closely associated with classical music and actually pioneered a lot of those recording technologies and whatnot, where Decca in the United States, because they were two separate companies, I think until 1998. They separated around World War II, and then they, came back together in 98. We've talked about that before. But Decca in the United States represented a lot of country music. So Ernest Tubb, an interesting artist that I, kind of learned about recently. Now, when we went, I don't think I was doing Record-ology at the time, but we went to the Grand Ole Opry and got a tour, behind the scenes tour. Did not see the show, but got to, the behind the scenes. We got to stand on the circle. My wife and I got to hold guitars and sing. It was a lot of fun. And, one of the perennial names in that region, obviously legendary, is Ernest Tubb, who had a famous record store. And he would actually host shows and sing-ins and stuff there as well. So it's a very, very important name in the country music world. If you aren't familiar with country music or, just haven't traditionally liked it that much, if you do a YouTube search for Ernest Tubb, driving nails in my coffin. It is a great song and a great version that he did live. I really, really like it. Funny story about the drummer in that video. He was actually a jazz drummer, and he's I think he had immigrated from the Netherlands, I want to say. And in so doing, he became a jazz drummer, and Ernest Tubb happened to find him, I think in Washington State, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably butchering this story. But they found him playing in a jazz club and said, hey, how'd you like to go on the road doing some country western music? And he went for it. Now, I don't know if he is still, I think it's the guy in the middle here. I think it's this guy right here. This was the guitarist, and this was the steel guitarist. There's Ernest Tubb himself. This looks a little later. Based on that label, I'm thinking mid-60s on this guy. But anyway, check out that video. It's a great. And one of the things you'll notice in the comments is kind of cool is somebody says, notice when he sings the lyric about driving nails in my coffin, how the drummer hits in a special way. It sounds like a nail being driven in. I love that kind of stuff, those kind of details. All right, completely switching gears here. We have a Dave Brubeck quartet album. I love Dave Brubeck, and this is a Columbia. This promises to possibly be a 6i. I don't know what that is supposed to represent. Is that a record? And then what is the little tripod thing coming off there? If you guys could tell me down in the comments below, I would be fascinated. Now, the Newport Jazz Festival is legendary. It's where Duke Ellington is said to have reinvented himself. I want to say in the 1958 Jazz Festival with a super, super long... I don't want to even take a stab at the song because I'm going to get it wrong. It's like, I don't want to even take it. I know what it is. I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm just going to skip it. Indeed, we have a 6i. Pretty cool. I love this stuff. I've been told these are pretty desirable. These 6i Columbias. This one's, filthy. Big old dusty thumbprint up there. But I think that this is a record worth having. Oh, yeah, we're going to play it. So let's give it a little bit of a listen. And as promised, just want to play at least a little bit. So I'd be really fascinated to learn about the 6i Columbias. I have a few of them, and I know that they're pretty desirable. Tell me more in the comments below. Oops. The bird really loves music, so he's cheeping and bobbing his head in the background. A couple of rough cues there. I am shaky hands anyway, and this is one of the harder tone arm lifts for me to operate, especially at a weird angle. So my apologies for the crushing cue there. Okay, again, switching complete. See, you got a great variety of stuff today. This is a great variety. This is cool. Check this out. Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse Club, Mousekedances, and other Mouseketeer favorites. There's Annette Funicello on there. We've got some other characters. There's Mickey. We've got all, some of the different, Mouseketeer members. And this is classic stuff. Now, when I first saw this, I'm like thinking to myself, oh, this is great. This is very 50s. In actuality, this is a 1974 record. So it's I don't know if it's a reissue or I think it was originally released, this particular title. 1362 was released, I think, in 1974. However, the content on here does originate really from that 50s and early 60s Disney Mickey Mouse Club, excuse me. Some great pictures on the back here. One thing that really attracted me to this title was Spin and Marty. Now, if you are not familiar with Spin and Marty, if you have Disney Plus, the first season of Spin and Marty is on there. Spin and Marty was a serial, like an episodic feature that they put on the Mickey Mouse Club show. So you'd get about 10 or 11 minutes every episode, and then you could piece it together in sort of a long form content, episodic adventure. And it was really cool. If you like the Hardy Boys, you'll love Spin and Marty. It's kind of the same idea, but set on like a Western boys ranch. So this title is one that I could not pass along. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's a Disneyland record. A little bit of a misprint there. It looks like they missed the mark a little bit, stamping the label. It almost looks like the label was adhered and then it was printed, which is kind of bizarre. But Disneyland records are great. I love all the label variants. They're usually pretty well put together. By the way, I'm sorry the bird is so loud. He's really into this show. So anyway, let's go ahead and spin up a little bit of Mouseketeer, Mickey Mouse Club here. That's the most 70s Mickey Mouse Club I've ever heard in my life. So that validates the 1974 date for sure. Let's go ahead and drop our needle a couple other places.
Anything can happen here on Anything Can Happen Day. Today is a day that is filled with surprises. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. Why, you might find yourself.
They have the song for the Spin and Marty show on here too somewhere. That'd be great if it played right now. That'd be great timing. But this is a pretty cool record for $3.
Oh, a cowboy needs a horse. Needs a horse. Needs a horse. And a cowboy needs.
You can tell by the bands on that record that there is a lot of stuff crammed in there. Gosh, it looks like there's about 12 songs per side there. It's massive. So, all right, moving along. We've got a lot to get to still, so I don't want to linger too long on any one record or any one topic here. Let's see. All right, next up, and actually this is our last record to look at today, is another Ernest Tubb. I love the cover of this record. This screams to me, I didn't date the other records, but I'm guessing this is based on the label. This is going to be a 60 to 63 perhaps. Ernest Tubb, and he's one of these guys that looks older than he really is usually. He looks like he could be 60 years old in that picture, and I think he was probably a lot younger than that. It's kind of interesting. But Ernest Tubb and his Texas Troubadours, another Decca release, this one's stereo. And on the back, we can see the typical Decca branding and some of the other titles that are available. So many records to collect, you guys. You can go down so many rabbit trails, as have I. Even just recently, this last few months. Got another original Decca sleeve on the inside there. Different titles. They're always trying to, sell you on what's next. Different genres, too. As you can see, it's kind of broken into dance music, movie and Broadway, children's music, classical, vocal, the best of the best, deluxe album sets, even Hawaiian music. Flip it over and you've got even more. There's Kitty Wells, who Patsy Cline really stole the Queen of Country title from. And in my opinion, I think that was very much justified. Just my opinion. And we got everything. I mean, there's so much music on here. All right, let's get into it. So we have a 1960 to 1968-ish stereophonic Decca rainbow label. Absolutely beautiful. The hub on these records, this one and the other Ernest Tubb record, are not raised. That is completely flush. It's about 125 to 130 gram record. Has those rounded corners that the Deccas often do, the rounded edges. It feels really good to hold. Again, it looks like it's in fantastic condition.
Passing by, that you're not sorry.
It just occurred to me we didn't play the first Ernest Tubb record.
You said I deserve.
Oops. I'm really bad at queuing records. I just want to skip through a little bit here.
I love you much too much.
Driving nails in my coffin, guys. You got to check it out. I don't think either of these records has that, unfortunately.
My front door. Now listen for
His guitarist was amazing. A really, really good guitarist, which I can't recall his name, of course, because we're filming. Had I not been filming, it would have been no problem whatsoever. Okay, let's regroup now. We're going to take a completely different direction. We're going to do a little unboxing on a weather radio, weather radio. Talk about that a little bit and do a little review and check it out and see what we can pick up on camera right this very minute. Okay, guys, we are going to take a look at this. This is the Retekess PR15 AM/FM weather band 3-band radio. And what we're really interested in here today is the weather band aspect of this. So I want to talk to you for a minute about weather band. It's something that has kind of been out there for a very long time and is still out there. People may not realize that it's still out there. But if your power goes out in your house and you have this service where you live, then it is potentially vital for you. Think of like Hurricane Katrina, stuff like that. Although at some point, even the infrastructure for broadcasting gets wiped out. But if you need to stay up to date on storm activity, then depending on where you live, what kind of weather you have, this could be a game changer. So a little battery operated weather radio, important. So in the US, we have NOAA, NOAA. In Canada, they have weather radio. In Mexico, they have SARMEX. These are all government provided, low wattage, free internet radio transmitters that are broadcasters that operate anywhere from 5 to 1,000 watts typically. The frequency range is 162.4 to 162.55, 162.55 being the original frequency. And it's a VHF broadcast on FM transmitters. And it loops about a 6 to 8 minute loop usually. They can jump on there if there's like a public safety emergency, an Amber Alert or whatnot, depending on where you're at. And it's an interesting thing. And I would say that a lot of people out there that are younger than myself may not even be aware that there is weather radio or why they would, potentially need that. So this is about the 7,000th Retekess radio we've reviewed, which is good because I can't think of a bad Retekess radio we've come across. They're all absolutely fantastic. And this one looks smart like all the others. It is a very pocket-sized instrument. This is a kind of a brushed plastic. On the back here, we see the branding stamp. Runs on 2 AAAs. Okay. Again, you don't want to be tethered to a charging system where you have to have charge the battery or it's dead. You want to be able to have, completely off the grid power supply, aka alkaline batteries, or just in a drawer ready to go in case of an emergency. So we'll put some batteries in there in a minute. Is that dusty in there? No, for a second, that kind of looked dusty. That's weird. Let's see. Up top here, we've got a volume knob. We've got a headphone control. It's got a good snap into the on and off position. Telescoping antenna. We've got a wrist strap. Looped in here. On the side, we've got a tuning dial and a band select, AM, FM, and weather band. And then on the tuning indicator up here, oops, you can see the little red deal. Tuning selector. I know there's a term for that. It's simple, guys. I mean, there's not much to it. There's a little tuning indicator LED, it looks like. So, all right, let me get some batteries in here, and let's see what we can find out in terms of the current weather. Let's go ahead and power her up. with some fresh batteries, Target brand batteries. These guys work pretty good in my experience. And yeah, let's start with AM. Let's skim through the dial. This will be an FM antenna, but we'll go ahead and activate it anyway.
Those who are just beginning their lifelong journey with Christ, or those who hope to
digital tuner.
What's in your wallet? Consumer accounts. Capital One and AIM
Let's go to FM. I like the tuning I like the tuning light. Usually you only see like a stereo indicator. It lights up when it confirms it has stereo. This one just confirms it has a signal. So you can use that to kind of make sure you're locked into the right spot. Sound quality is what you would expect for this type of radio. All right, weather band. Here we go, guys. Let's see if we can get some weather. There was one right around here.
South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Friday night, partly cloudy. Lows near 40. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Highs near 70. Lows in the mid-30s to lower 40s. Sunday and Sunday night, mostly clear. Highs in the lower to mid-60s.
So you could tell it's pretty low power broadcast there. But it's, you know, it's intelligible audio. You're not going there for a high fidelity audio experience. You're going there to, you know, get the information. So let's see here. If I can, is that the only one in our area?
5 to 71.
That's the only one. Oops, something down here. No? Hard to say. Also, it's still daylight, so the ionosphere has not shrunk yet. Therefore, our reception won't be as good as it will be later.
Report was fair. The temperature was 59 degrees, the dew point 25. The relative humidity 27%. The wind was northeast at 10 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.18 inches and steady.
Yeah, I mean, it does what it states it's going to do. And I think that it's a good example of a truly pocket-sized radio. You can use it for AM, FM, or weather, or all three. This would be really smart to keep. If you're like most people and have a junk drawer, this would probably be a good radio to keep in the junk drawer. Make sure you have, you know, some spare AAAs at all times, just in case you need to power it up and these ones die. Because if it sits in here for long enough, they'll just slowly drain. Ideally, you pull the batteries out, but you don't want to be left without anything. I don't think there's a power supply on here, so you have to go off of batteries. You know, this is a pretty basic device. I mean, there's not, you know, a whole lot of extra features. It's a basic device. It does what it's supposed to do, but it's a good example of it. So I'm going to recommend it. In fact, if you want a deal on this, look in the description below, and I think we have a coupon, some kind of deal for you. So check that out if you're interested. But most importantly, guys, just thank you for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Okay, guys, and that is going to do it. Thank you so much for joining us, as always. So what is the big news? So, if you've been here for a while, you know that we like to do Vlogmas at Christmas time, a show every single day during the month of December, dedicated to a mixture of record-themed and tech-themed Christmas stuff and non-tech-themed record-themed Christmas stuff, like lighting displays, events, attractions, even cooking and crafts, all things Christmas related. We love Christmas here. This year is going to be a little bit different because we will not be doing Vlogmas on Record-ology. However, for those of you that enjoy that content, and many of you do, I would like to invite you to come over to Mrs. Record-ology's brand new channel called Beyond the Purple Suitcase, link down below, where she features weekly content on travel, products, all kinds of cool events and whatnot, and where we will be doing Vlogmas this December. And we'll have more details on that, but this one's going to be bigger and better than ever. Very excited to bring that to you guys. And actually, I'm not even bringing it to you. I'm just along for the ride. So we're going to have fun together. Definitely check that out. Beyond the Purple Suitcase on all your favorite socials, but most importantly, YouTube. Again, link in the description below. I want to say thank you for joining us today and every day. It means a lot that you're here. I enjoy this time together, and I enjoy hearing from you. So let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. But for now, that's going to do it, guys. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.